Right, let's quickly look at this candy dry, see if it works. Right, the kick plate is here. Well, it's broke there, and it's breaking there. The door itself is cracked here, but that's because when it's been opened, it's probably been over pushed there. Once it gets to that point, can you see it starts pulling there. The drum itself, a weird one there. Not rusted, but it's like this is supposed to be like, oh, the label missing. Most of the writing's still here. The candy logo rubbed off. Does it work? Not being funny, but the plastic's on this crap. How is that broke? Alright, what it is. It's not like I've got seal on it and everything. I've heard worse. Yeah, it's cold. So, yeah, yet again, the heater on this is not working. Again, it could be the heater itself, it could be the thermostat. Work it out. That's clearly why it's been shut out. Now, anyone who's been keeping up with me will see this Credo Advanced T601CW, and it's been, whenever I plugged it in originally, it would just zap all the power straight away. So far, I had a look at the plug, there was no fuse, but that wasn't actually the problem. After rooting around a little bit, the float switch was the problem. Anyway, we've got it back all together. I've literally tested it, obviously plugged it in, not showing power anymore. But I have a problem now, so normally when we press start drying, it will start, and it's not a stuck in button, it's just a push start. But there's a problem. It does heat, actually, believe it or not. The motor's working as well, it seems to be running quite smooth actually. But when I press start, if I let go, it just won't start. It won't keep going. Let's go try something. try this buzzer. Yeah, it does work. So that's the audio signal. If I turn it off, that doesn't work now. We're on high heat, and indeed, yeah, it's baking hot in there, even after like a few seconds. So we'll just quickly do it through cool, just to make it cool down again. So I'm just going to hold this now, just make sure the timer still advances. Could be a long way, but we need to now figure out what's causing this start button to not just carry on. So if I open the door while it's still starting it should switch off. So it's not the door. Just won't stay it won't carry on. It's running alright though, for a 20-year-old dryer. Right, the other thing I'm going to have to test is once that bottle's filled, will it trip the float switch? Because I put the float switch back, but whether the float switch actually works is a bit of a different question. That was the thing that was actually causing too much power to run through. Timer's still working, that's good. Other than that, I think once it's working, I will like the the dryer would be a nice dryer for somebody. There's a couple more screws to be put in. The side panels have a screw at the bottom. I put the wrong screws in the back panel. The longer screws, but I haven't put them in. I put different screws in. I put the ordinary body screws in. But the trouble is, this whole body keeps so all the screws keep this whole condenser rigid. It keeps the drum in line. If you miss any one of those screws, it starts pulling the drum out of line. You start getting problems like squealing and stuff. And I know this because when I tried to test my Hotpoint Ultima dryer, with no panels on, it was running fine, but it was like scraping really bad and stuff. And then when I put the panels together, it was fine again. So that's off. So I presume that when it's in normal mode, is that also a buzzer? No, it's just nothing that and that. So we're nothing there and there. So I presume if I can get that start button working, we'll be running sound really. It's pretty good dryer actually, I think. Once it's up and running, that huge, like I said, as soon as I press start, the amount of heat that's coming through, it's unreal. Right, the condenser's pretty clean. I've actually hoovered inside, so I just need to do the condenser, this door, and the back collection chamber. Right, see you guys soon. Right, so we've got a Bosch WFD 2473 here. So we'll give an update because actually I've had this now stood around for about 10 months or so. I originally had it, kind of fixed it, sold it on, and it started leaking after a week. There's a little seal at the bottom, and if you go online, this drum, which goes on Bosch's and White Knights apparently, has this little seal in the bottom for probably something else. and that started leaking. I bought a new seal. I tried using the old seal, putting D-ball glue on and then sticking it back in, and that didn't work. So I bought a new seal, stuck that in and didn't put any D-ball glue in, and that didn't work. And then, well, I've now thought of putting glue on, but then something kind of occurred to me. I have got videos of this coming up. I did do quite a few videos. But you'll notice it's knocking. Knocking, knocking, knocking in the videos on the spin. It's just all a bit stiff. And having to have a look around, I couldn't see anything. Now, it was kind of like this a little bit, tiny bit, before I sold it back on. But it seems to have got a lot worse, for some bizarre reason. Now, if we have a look there, and I'm going to try and do this with my fingers and the camera all in one hand, is that when I turn the drum like this, it is moving up and down very slightly. So I tried pulling on the where the paddles are to see where it might be broken. Now, there's a little dent there. In fact, there's two little dents, which will suggest that it is broken somewhere. But, having pulled on it, there's no movement. So, I'm just wondering whether it's getting stuck. Now, what it is not doing is rubbing on this seal at all. It's not actually rubbing on it at all, and it's not hitting the plastic basket, so it's a bit weird. But if I spin this fast, it's like there's something stuck. Having got a torch and had a look round, I couldn't see anything. So, I don't know what to do with it. So, look, it is a split tub, so I am going to strip it down and have a look to see if I can see anything. And at the same time, I'll stick the D-ball glue on. No, I'll just leave it off. See if there's anything there. If there isn't anything there, I'm going to be stuck. But if there is something there, we might be in luck. So it's a bit of one of them, really. We'll have a look in the future. However, because I've got cycles of these programs, so we'll have a look. Right, reasons why you should have a guarantee when you get a reconditioned washer. Now, this is, we've already replaced the brushes, been working fine. Today, I'm going to plug it in. It's been unplugged for the last couple of days, I think. And it's just thrown up an E53 code. Basically, it's to do with the board. So I've unplugged the board, plugged it back in just in case. It's still E53, so I've unplugged the motor and then put it on and now getting E52. So hopefully when I plug this motor back in, it should be fine again. Right, so there goes nothing then. Done it again, E53. Huh. Yeah, if I unplug the motor, I get an E52, because obviously you would do, because there's no response back. Right, so let's see if this works. Yeah, so actually this is now the ZWHP 7149, now this is ZWG 7120K. So it's now 6 kilo and 1200 spin, but with a 7 kilogram drum. It will. So Oddly enough, all the programs are still here. So like Mini 30 is still Mini 30, and Refresh 20 is still the 5 shirts. Easy Yang's still there. And Mix 20, which is there, is now over here. So everything's still where it is, and all the programs are existent. But does it have problems with E53? Actually, I'm just going to turn it to 10 and see what. There's nothing there. Let me just show you. So this is the board. Whoop. There we go. And if you notice around here, there is some blackening around here. So there is a board problem. About 97,000. Impressive. I don't know if this board actually fully works. Won't find out. We're going to test it later on blindly. Should fully work. I mean, the machine came from the spider completely snapped and had pulled the seal, skewed it off. But yeah, we're working. Right, so we've got a Zanussi FL 1085. Now, people remember any of my testing videos in the past, they'll notice I've got an FL 1084. I still have that, and I've been wanting an FL 1085 for ages. But while the FL 1084 fully works, bar me using some brushes because it's age. Ugh. Why are we so blurry? There we go. Yeah, so all the writing's rubbed off. The softener grate's missing. That's not too bad because since we've got the spares. Got half load button, rinse hold, down to 500 RPM button and economy. This is the 1085 is a brush model. If you have the 10 FL 850, which is the same machine, it's an 800, but it's a induction model. This is known as the quick and clean models. Ugh. Gross. What's that? Is that congealed fat? Ugh. I know it sounds daft that I'm not emptying it. That's because I'm just doing a quick test wash on this before we do anything else. Right. Ugh, yes, so the drum spider has snapped on one leg. That still works. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to do a quick boil wash, which is program B. But anyway, this is the programs. So we've obviously got F, which is fast spin. That's the hidden 60 program with pre-wash. 50. One wants 40, 30. Sorry, the acrylic's 40. One wants 30. And then we've got delicates. wool. One wants 30. Yeah, there's two lots. There's two different one wants programs. One's over here and one's over here. L obviously rinses, M softener, N slow spin at 600 RPM, P pump out, A pre-wash and boil wash, B boil wash, C colour fast cotton, and D non-fast cotton. We've got variable, so this is quick and clean. So this is basically the predecessor to the Electrolux Time Manager. So basically you can vary the length of the wash. You have 8 settings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And trust me, so all this varies. So, and depending on what program, between A, B, C, and D, and G, you can vary how long it will last for. So you obviously got quick wash and then super wash, normal wash. So we'll select quick wash. I'm just going to put some Ariel in. Not some Ariel, actually. No, we're going to put some super mix in. See if this works. So what's the plan then? And someone said, why don't you swap the tubs over from the FL 1084? Don't really get that since it's a bigger job. Or my opposite way round is to change the whole timer, the whole front fascia kind of thing. Except the jaw, of course. The jaw should fit probably. Obviously it's the same style, so it's still the same brown with almond setup. But then I'll go and keep the FL 1084 time, so then I can actually change over, because the two times are actually completely different. So that's a Zanussi Nexus. This is a Zanussi. Well, it's still, I think it's still a Nexus, which is quick and clean. Oh no, this is a Zanussi quick and clean. So that's a Nexus. That's a quick and clean. There is a difference. Also, this is the same kind of programmer that the FLS 1083 that I had. That also has variable spin, but that also has a different timer as well. Quite a few different timers. Can't wait to... I will swap them over. Right, so that is, well, probably not 90. It wasn't bad though, but the main wash has only been on for around 45-ish minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. the other problem with this is not only is the spider gone, the bearings are also slightly gone as well. Let's not like that. So I'm just going to test this logic out for what it works on. I'm going to select baby care. That's probably what the favourite is actually, baby care cycle. I'm just going to whack it up to 90 anyway. So the reason why I'm using baby care, I'm just checking it out, is obviously I want to test the boil water. No. So I just want to do 60 baby care. Just to test out, making sure the whole machine kind of works, or what does and doesn't work. So this came from a property, I'll just press start. Right, so this came from, I've got a landlord, and this came from a studio flat. So, obviously only single person use, and the bearings are already gone. Although, saying that now, I mean this is, when I say this is starting to get on a bit, it's probably about 5-6 year old anyway now. Maybe even 7. So, just thought I'd try baby care out, because it's nothing like the later version from Vestal, from Media, shall I say. heating. Got about 30 now. Right, so it's currently in heat mode. Well, been heating for a while. Supposedly this is supposed to be 60. I don't know what temperature it's at, but it's definitely at 60. pour going. So it's had a new damper on that side. When I first plumbed it in, the motor wasn't going round. So I did check the back brushes, and what I hadn't done was put the motor plug back in. Oh, actually saying that, I think the motor plug might have fell out. Not too sure. Either way, put the motor plug back in, and it's fine now. So we're just going to test it with 2 towels. A very weird sounding motor. I already checked the brushes and put them back in. They're about a half length, so I'll put them back in. Oh, let's see how time goes on. That's on its final rinse. And that's actually, the baby care cycle does 3 rinses. So, I've known most of the media made products which already do 2 on the cotton cycle, say for example. That means it's done 1 extra than it should do. No, it's on its final rinse, final spin now. Go on, put 7 on. You can't wash me. Yeah. Bang. I will cry if it did do that. Oh.
Is it plugged on?
It is switching on.
Yeah.
You know what would be just the worst thing to do with the video? Just walk around constantly swearing because you have to like repeat every single one out.
Yeah. He tells me off for swearing, but he's the one that swears after I stop.
Yeah, you actually did behave yourself, and then I started.
Is that alright?
Bearing's slightly dry. You'll be fine. We can run it for a while, but the main bearings will need doing at some point.
Motor? Or...
No, drum bearing.
Oh, okay. I like the pump.
But there's no rumble from the bearing yet, so...
Oh yeah, got welded cabinets these ones as well.
Yes! You've got changeable bearings, but you can't, you've got to lift the whole drum out of the cabinet.
Oh yeah, that's dangerous. I like it.
It is nice though.
There was only one of these that I remember from when I was little, and it was yeah, that's what I always used to think was like really interesting. But the only one that I knew was the basic one with, I think it only had 1 button.
Put on boiler wash.
Eh?
Put on a boiler wash.
Can we stop it? Bring it on the boil wash.
Just put a heavy cell on as well, because it will turn off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was quite cool how quick it did it. We need to get the other end to sit in and the Hoover out.
And get the other one to sit on.
Yeah, technically, but we won't hold that against it. It's an Indesit, really.
Yeah.
Well, I say it's an Indesit, but it's an Indesit which is a Rybit.
It's an Indesit, it's a Ryber, there's
Me too.
Narrowston, Colston, and whatever else you want to put towards it.
Hey?
How hard does it go normally?
Hey? Mine did up for about a year.
Well, a normal wash.
Yeah. I think it's only got one water level, but I can't remember. I didn't use it for like a good few years. Might be slightly lower. But only difference with the other one that I had, it had Series 2000 dials and a chrome door. I mean, it was still plastic, but it was like silver.
Is it me or is that quite actually a wider door than that?
I don't know.
It looks wider than that.
I think it's because it's more proud. Do you want to do a quick video about the Hoover or?
Can do. I'm waiting for this to like, start washing.
Hmm?
Does it take this long before it starts kicking in?
I can't remember. Time was going then. I think it static heats completely.
I guess that's been fine throughout, just on the bearings.
I do really like that actually, it's very, very nice. Yeah, I think it's going to static heat until it gets to at least 40 and then it might tumble.
Right.
Right,
We are now tumble heating. Oh, also, it does have another problem too, where the cabinet at the back is kind of rusted. It's not completely collapsed, but it's starting to go.
another one for the scrap pile.
Oh, really?
That's sounding smoother now.
I think it was alright. It's when it was spun up. You know, when it was like 400 RPM. That's when it started squealing. But might be alright once I got some heat through it. There's still odd squeaks.
The belt on my other one squeaked.
That might be what it is. Yeah, odd squeak.
I might wrap the spin dryer up like that as well.
Yeah, all this soap came out of the steam valve. Oops. But this is kind of weird because it's now filling up through the main wash again. So God knows what 2 is. If it's not pre-wash. I think this is a quick wash, so we're going to film it at some point. It's too vigorous to be a wool wash. Fills about the same amount as the cottons. 2 is a pre-wash, but the diverter valve needs working on. Because the it never fills through the pre-wash, it just fills it through either just B or B and C. It fills it through D on the final rinse, so D is fabric softener. Let this advance, it will fill to another rinse. Oh. Spin. It does 1 rinse. Whatever it is, it does 1 rinse. Fills up, washes, drains, fills up for a rinse, drains and does a spin. And then we've also got like 3 drying, so let's do that. It's obviously working because flickering that about. So it looks like it's got 3 heats. So obviously got like high, medium, and low. Or obviously like so probably high, low, and like really, really, really low. Because it's only so the low one heats only have like 5 minutes cool down. Obviously this is high heat because it has 10 minutes cool down. Oh, and also this is a vented tumble dryer. Vented washer dryer, shall I say. Not a condenser. Seems to be burning off a lot of dust right now. I'm going to leave that running while we set up. I need to shift some machines about. Yeah, it definitely smells like it's not been used for a very long time. Which is true. It's not been used for a very long time. It smells like a hairdryer. You know, like a hairdryer that's just not been used. Right, let's take a look at this then. It's a Grenier WA 7 1. I'll get this. It's a WA 72145 BK. Right, so we've got a broken drum paddle, and the last owner did say the suspension was a bit bouncy. Let's get it going then. That's what we'll do. We'll put these 2 towels in. I'll set it to a boil wash and then see how it goes. Right, so what we'll do is set water plus. It's not electric. It's the same range though, so there we go. So I'm going to put some special mix in. So we get on. Now, it was last used when it was... Actually, do you know what? It's not been used like 15 months. So, we'll see how we get on. Being obviously Grenier, it should fill and then start tumbling. Maybe not. Jack's on, carefully working. Right, let's test this then. So, anyone who actually watches my videos all the time, with the testing videos, this did actually appear in it. But I'd only just got it in. I plugged it in initially and we put it on a spin test. It did that fine. It also came with all these rags inside it, because this came from the auction rooms that I got for very cheap. So, but the trouble with the auction rooms is that very often there'll be a problem with, oddly enough, even though they'll say working order, they get told it's working order, so they'll put working order on it when it might not actually be in full working order, or even good working order. Case in point, my WT960 right here, 965A shall I say, that I bought from the auction room in working order, and I had a F8 heater fault. Anyway, let's I'll stick some citric acid in, and clear it out. Yeah. Other than that, the actual drawer's immaculate. There's no mould. Or at least that's what I can't. Yeah, there's no mould. Even after all this time. But obviously, we need to put some. Anyway, we're going to select 90. Oh, so 90 as normal is actually 2 hours 8. I pre-wash it. It jumps up by like 30 minutes. Speed perfect. Takes some time off. It's about 18 minutes. But if we go to a 60, it'll be longer. Oh no, not that much longer. 60 you go. 4 hours 29. Normal 60, 2 hours 13. Can't stand a 40. 4 hours 30. It's a whole minute longer. Put a pre-wash on. Ugh, ridiculous. Mix load, speed perfect. I see. So right, we're going to put it on cotton 90. Not messing about. A cup of citric acid in. Start. Very nice. That's working fine. Leave it going. Obviously we've got the spots of, I would say mould, but that actually looks more like rust. So, leave it going. Right, let's test this out. So, the Max 6 WAB is pretty much at boil now. So this had a board replaced actually in the end, and I put the original motor on. We've got its filter. We've got a spare belt. I must have used a different belt. But we've got the actual belt on, you know, the right belt on. Anyway, it was 30, 40, 60, 60, 90. We'll put some citric acid in and see what it does. So I haven't put a full cup in like I normally do. They shouldn't need much citric acid, and it doesn't really need a boil washout either, simply because of how it was used. So the previous owner just did their whites in it, and that was it, on 90 all the time, and then used the other as a new cylinder on like 1640 for the colours. Obviously then way more colours as well. This was insured under their insurance plan. He kept saying to him, it's not washing. Obviously it kept spinning up, didn't it? Because the tri had gone. And Bosch, and for a while it wouldn't do anything, so it was used for blah 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 blah. And eventually they actually just changed the machine anyway. And you end up with a Bosch WAQ 283 thingy. So yeah, it ended up with from a 5 kilo to an 8 kilo under the insurance. I got it and tested it, and it was the Triac, so I ordered a board, put a board in it. Now bear in mind, I've had this machine now for like 3 years. It's not turned like for 3 years. 2 years? 3 years? It's definitely 3 years. It's definitely over 2 years, because it was before I had this workshop, and I've had this workshop for 2.25 years. And I ordered a board as well back then. For whatever reason, never got around to like fixing it until a couple of weeks ago. I fixed it, well, put to the board, I was tested it. You saw that in the other video in the past, if you haven't seen it already. And then it sat there as well for like 2 weeks, because 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a couple of weeks, whatever, until I got round to thought we'll do Bosch week. So we've got Bosch, Max 6, Max 5. We've got the Max 8 still, we've got the other Max 6, it's obviously classics, and we'll do a generation race. Obviously I haven't got the original Max, the WFD, and obviously the bearings went on that, seized up, so that's gone. But we can still do a generation race since we've got like 8 machines, from like 2008 to like 2018. Okay, so it appears the pump's not working on this. That's funny. Look. Also, they just kicked in. And it's been doing this for the last 7-8 minutes, just tumbling around. It's like it didn't even bring up a drain code or anything. And all of a sudden, oh, the pump fired up. Strange. We'll see how it gets on then. Let me rephrase that, it's gone back up to 45 minutes now. Let's click to select the instant spin. So it was trying to drain for 14 minutes and didn't bother once to bring up an error code.